I'd like to introduce and welcome from Italy, my great client who we've been together, 2+ years now?
Yeah.
Greg Storch, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jeff. It's really great to reconnect and see you again. Thanks.
Yeah. We worked together probably we started a couple of years ago, I'd say. We worked for about a year or so, and then you've been kind of off on your own. And so you've done so much since then. And I don't even know half the stuff you've done because, I keep up with you when we're mentoring, but afterwards I just, I'm on your emails. I see that. And the other day, I saw one of his emails and he's doing his 100th live show. And those of you that know me, obviously I do my weekly Tuesday live show and things like that. And obviously it's part of a system that I implement and help my mentor coaching clients with as a marketing structure. Yep. And so I'm like, dude, virtual high five from across the world, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm like, your show 100, I'm like, I got to get you on my show and we got to talk about this. So Greg, because I want to kind of highlight the journey because coaches that are watching this, they're at all stages of the journey. But, here you are, 2 years plus in, 100 shows later, I want to kind of highlight some of the journey that's gotten you to this spot. So, when we started working together, if you can remember, kind of where were you? What space were you in? What were the challenges, the struggles, and, what made you even want to seek me out in the first place?
Yeah, great question. I had just left corporate America. I had ventured out on my own. I had gone through IPEC, gotten certified as a professional coach, and I wanted to do leadership development and coaching. And I was not happy in the space I was in. So I left and I started my own business, and I had just landed my first client, which was a niche, a boutique IT company in Old Town Alexandria, Virginia. And I was hired to develop their training program for them. So within, 6 months of leaving corporate America and branching out on my own, I landed my first 6-figure contract. It was crazy. And I was like, now what? But what I didn't know was how to build a business. And what I learned really quick was coaches hire coaches. And what I knew I needed was a coach to help me on the business side. And that's where you came in.
Yeah, absolutely. And so as we started our work together, talk about what were some of the things that we worked on that kind of helped you out that most to get you on the trajectory that you're on today?
Yeah, it was really, okay. So some of the biggest keys that I still talk about today with the people I speak with is the tools you helped me gain about building your audience, creating consistency. One of the mindsets, and I'm wearing my mindset t-shirt today. Nice. One of the mindsets that you helped me develop was, a lot of people on social media get wrapped around this whole thing about nobody's logging in and watching my videos. And what you taught me was that's not the point. The point is staying in front of your audience and being consistent, and consistency is the big thing. And that's why I celebrated I had a big celebration for my 100th episode. It's not a lot, but you have to stop and celebrate those little things like that. And it's all about the consistency. So for over 2 years now, on your advice and through your preparation with me, I've set up the Weekly Roar, my weekly spot on leadership. I speak about leadership topics and self-improvement topics. And on top of that, I have a weekly email that goes out every Saturday morning. So I've been consistent with both of those things, staying out in front of my audience. And to your end, my email list has slowly started to build. I've seen my audience in the Lion's Den grow. So it all works.
Yes. And for people listening, just so you know, these lion references, his website is lion-enterprise.com. We'll pull that up in a little bit. Yeah. But that's so the Weekly Roar. And then the Lion's Pride Library is where he puts all of his videos. So he's got that Lion's Den or that Lion's Enterprise theme. And, he kind of pulled that creativity in, which has been really cool to see. So that's the structure you've had. So you had the structure of the consistency of getting out in front of people. And the cool part is I want to highlight what I heard you say is that you've slowly started to see that grow.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the biggest thing about the consistency. It's not necessarily like, oh my God, all of a sudden I've got millions of people. It's like just a little bit over time. So talk about the evolution over the last few years, especially since our work, we stopped working together, and kind of what you've done. Talk about what the evolution of your business, of what you've seen, around the structure.
Yeah, so I've been able to expand my circle of influence through this structure. I've started speaking more. Just last August, I was on the stage speaking in front of 3,000 people and on leadership, and it was amazing. And these things are all part of, the consistency that you taught me. So from a business perspective, with the move to Italy, it kind of threw a wrench in the gear because I'm not in the States. I almost envy people who are back in the States who have their networks readily available to them that they can not right now, they can't physically touch them, but that they have the ability to do that, because from a certain perspective, and depending on your perspective, I could be at a disadvantage because of my geographical dispersion from my audience, but I've made that work. And the way I've made it work was I've gone to develop programs in my business where they're virtual. I've done virtual master classes on personal growth and how to deal with adversity. So all of those things have all built into, I guess the takeaway is flexibility and, kind of refiguring out how you're going to do business given your circumstances. And now that's even the biggest point you can make given today's situation, right?
Huge. Yeah. And talk about that for a minute, because when we started off, you were living in the US and you moved to Italy. So during that time, like, I think this is a big thing that I want other people to understand is like, this is a big thing. It's a big transition for you, to say the least. Your wife's over there, I think, for a couple months at a time, and you're like going back and forth, and your network was built. It was Texas, right?
No, we were in Virginia, Northern Virginia.
Right. So you're in the area, and then now you're moving across country. So you're doing your business, getting structure in your business while you're going back and forth overseas, and then ultimately moving over there. Yeah. Talk about how you were able to stay consistent within that transition, because no matter what people are going through, I mean, there's all kinds of transitions. That's one of, I'd say, the top 5 is moving, never mind moving across country. So
actually, that's a brilliant question, Jeff, because that's the thing. And it brings up a great point in my answer, is that you have to make it important enough to you to do it. So you're right. I mean, my wife got a job offer to come to Italy in, I want to say June. No, she got the offer in like mid-April. They wanted her to start in June. So her and I left in June. This is 2018. We sell everything we own. We sell our 2 cars. We sell one of our houses down in South Carolina. We rent out our house in Virginia. We sell every piece of furniture we own, and we rent this little 5-foot by 15-foot storage shed and put like memorabilia in it, and that's it. We own nothing. And we pack 2 cats, 4 suitcases, and we get on a plane and we fly to Italy. But guess what? While I'm traveling, while I'm sitting in the Rome airport, or while I'm over in Rome doing a training session and it's a Wednesday and it's time for Weekly Roar, guess what? I'm prepared. I've got my lesson prepared. I've got my IT available to me. I'm always make sure I'm near a Wi-Fi hotspot so I can do my live. So it's all about prioritizing and the importance of what you're doing.
Yeah. That's big. And I want to highlight that piece, because I've had other clients on who have gone through other major transitions, but it's just like, I kind of want the coach listening to this to be like, oh my God, I have no excuse. Like, oh my God, I have no excuse, because, everyone's personal challenges are their own, right? And we're not going to compare one to the other. But when you have such massive transitions like that, I mean, that's like literally you had 4 suitcases, a wife, and 2 cats.
That's
like,
it.
And like, that's it. And you're moving to a country you've really never been to before.
Correct. Well, yeah.
Well,
exactly.
you know what I mean? You guys have traveled, but
exactly.
you're
So
literally starting over.
Yeah. And so committing to that consistency, even through those challenges, because look, we all know life's hard. Life's full of challenge and it's hard for everybody. So it's really a matter of choice at the end of the day on really how important is this to you? If you're, is your business a business or is it a hobby? Because if it's a hobby, it's going to be the first thing you axe in a time of crisis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And then once it's a business, to finish that sentence, right? Once it's a business, that's the last thing you axe in a time of crisis, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The consistency. And as a matter of fact, you have to even stay more present because you have to shift and adjust. I call it the shuck and jive of business, right? You have to reinvent yourself all the time. Jeff, maybe this is a great time to talk about this, because of the transition, it forced my creativity. And one of the things I was most afraid, the crazy thing about this is this concept was born out of fear, which is, paralyzes a lot of us. But my fear was I had just graduated from coaching school, with IPEC, and I knew I was leaving 2 months later to live in a foreign country. And I was scared because I knew Mod 3 was over, which is the final weekend we have before we certify. And I knew I wasn't going to be surrounded by them anymore. And I wasn't going to be in a formal structure in coaching anymore. And so I was wondering, what am I going to do to maintain my skills? How am I going to become a good coach? And so I basically created a bartered coaching system purely from selfish reasons. I wanted to maintain my coaching skills. And we started with 26 coaches. And I was pairing these coaches up. I said, you coach them and they're going to coach you back because we have to exchange like services between the two of you for it to count as paid hours. And 26 grew into 150 in like 4 months. And then within the year, I had over 550, all IPEC coaches in the helping hand. So out of this fear, I created this huge bartered coaching circle called the Helping Hand. And today it's approaching 400 IPEC coaches in, I want to say, let me get the numbers straight, 34 states and 24 countries. It's crazy. So we went worldwide in a year and a half. We're approaching our second year already.
Wow. That's so if someone's listening to this, like, how can they become a part of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's real easy, actually. Just go to my website. That's the best way to do it. Go to lion-enterprise.com. And then there's a coaching tab on my website. And if you take the drop-down menu, you'll see a link that says The Helping Hand. If you click on that, there's a great video, if I do say so myself, that explains,
you got it, right?
That explains the program. It gives you a lot more details about what you get from the program. And the big thing is it's only IPEC coaches. I have not even opened this up to regular certified coaches. It's only IPEC, and there's almost 400 of us in this group right now. So
right. Are you planning on opening up if there are other coaches that aren't, let's say, through that IPEC school? I mean, is that an option or?
Yeah, I think it is. I've have the vision of doing that. However, I want to make sure I maintain the integrity because, as you know, anyone can affiliate with the ICF. And there's only a few top coaching schools in the country. Mm-hmm. And so I want to ensure the integrity. I don't want just any coaches joining and coaching coaches. Yeah. I do want to maintain some integrity. So I'm trying to work through that right now.
Good. I like that, though, because you want them to benefit from it. And that's the whole foundation of where it was born anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah. And I've been hearing nothing but great things. It's funny because every now and then, obviously I'm talking with a lot of coaches through my weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll either be asking like, I heard about this program that it's like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, is that the Helping Hand? They're like, oh yeah, that's it. Or is that Greg Storch? They're like, oh yeah, that's it. I'm like, I know that guy, So it's funny how like I knew what you were doing, but then you'd start to hear about it from other avenues. So
from now on, don't only say I know that guy. You also need to say I helped that guy.
Thanks, man. I will say that. Like I mentored that guy.
Yes. Exactly. That's what you need to tell him. He's there because I mentored him.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, you're a self-starter. You're great. You're great with leadership. So let's start to wrap this up. Tell people about your business. I got your website up on the screen. So lion-enterprise.com. So tell people a little bit, what you alluded to it before, but I love the concept of your leadership because it's not just general leadership. Like you really got specific.
Yeah. I've lived through a lot. I've witnessed a lot of bad management, and everybody watching this knows. They've heard it, they've seen it, they may be even living it, where they just have a bad boss, and there's reasons why they have it. And so my whole goal in life is to eradicate the Sunday night blues, and I'm doing it one manager at a time. So my focus from a coaching niche is new managers, those employees who are transitioning from employee to boss, because they need to have the tools. But Lion Enterprise really focuses on leadership development from the perspective of these stages. I can coach and I can develop leaders at all levels. Whether you're a new leader or a seasoned leader, I have stuff for you. But I really focus on the new leader because I feel like that's where I'm making the impact, because I want to change the lives for employees by making better leaders for them so they enjoy being at work, so they want to be part of their culture, so they want to be present and not get the Sunday evening blues worrying about what they're stepping into Monday morning. And, some people get physically sick Sunday night thinking about going into their workplace on Monday morning. So I focused on training, developing. I do a lot of speaking on inner circle, personal growth, and developing leaders. As a matter of fact, Jeff, real quick, I know we want to wrap up, but I wanted to just tell you my project that I'm working on is a 10 series audio series of developing the leader, you as a leader, starting with you, what the 10 things you need to look at and work on before you go into leadership, or if you're in leadership, you can hone your skills in before you start worrying about leading other people.
Awesome, dude. That's really cool. I love to see you developing this, whether you're speaking, you're coaching, the courses that you're creating, like you're definitely evolving and you're starting to expand your offerings, which is huge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, this is awesome, Greg. I so appreciate hearing from you and seeing this evolution. And I hope that like people listening to this or watching this, whether it's live or the recording, they can really get a feel for, I love that word, that evolution of, listening to you talk now, you've always been solid on your message. Like when we started off, like you've been really solid around it. You're obviously knowledgeable around it. You're passionate around it. You speak very eloquently and articulately around it as well. So I could see how you can start to draw in that audience. But it's cool to see how the consistency has paid off and the things you're creating for coaches, the things you're creating for yourself. So, dude, virtual high five, man. I appreciate you having you on.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate catching up with you. It's always great. And, I'll always attribute my beginnings to making the decision to hire a coach. Coaches need coaches.